Hi there, welcome back to the ERS Fast Start video training series. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to add and edit items to your inventory. So let's get started by clicking on Admin, Products, Items. In the last video, we created a category for tents, so let's go ahead and add a 20 by 20. Now, much like with categories, there are a ton of fields we could fill out here, but we're not going to worry about all of these right now. The main fields we're going to focus on right now are name, type, cost, quantity, picture, and category. Now once again, description is important for your customers to get the information they need about the item and also for your SEO. I'm not going to worry about that for now, but that is important to do before too long. For now, since we've gotten the basic information in here, I'm going to go ahead and submit. And we can see that the item is now in our list of items in the back end, and it should also show up on the front end. And there it is. If we click into the item, we can see that not only does the item name and other information populate to the page, but also, much like with your categories, the ERS system has automatically generated a page path or URL for the item. And that format is always the same. It's /items / the name of the item with any spaces between words replaced by underscores. I'm not going to go into too much detail, especially since we discussed this in the last video, but again, that's good for your SEO. Alright, so let's go ahead and create a package. Now with many of our items, we have the ability to configure them differently to sell them as different kinds of products. For example, we've got 4 20 by 20 canopy tents, which can be combined to make a 20 by 40, a 20 by 60, etc. Another common example of this in our industry is wet-dry units. So the ERS system helps you manage such modular types of items with packages. So let's go ahead and create our 20 by 40 package, and the easiest way to do that is to copy the 20 by 20. And then we can edit the details here. So now that we've updated the name, it's important for us to change this to a package item. It's important to note that shared should never be chosen. The ERS system allows you to share some or all of your inventory with another company using the ERS system. And so if you have some or all of your inventory set up for sharing with another company, shared should be checked in here automatically. To learn more about product sharing, I encourage you to look it up in the knowledge base and/or to reach out to the tech support department. So I'm going to mark this as a package. I'm going to update the price. And with packages, we have to specify the contents of the package. So in this case, all this package really is 2 20 by 20s. Don't worry about value or time offset and duration. Those are advanced settings that we'll cover in our advanced inventory video. I'm going to go ahead and leave the picture as is for now, and it's in the tents category, which is fine. So we're good to go here. I'm going to go ahead and submit. And once again, it now shows up in our inventory in the back end. And when we go to the website, we see it in the tents page as well. A couple of things to keep in mind. Number one, the ERS system does support packages within packages. So for example, if you'd like to make your base 20 by 20 tent item into a package item so that you can break it down a little further by separating out the crossbars and all the other constituent components, then you can absolutely do that. And the other thing is that the system does not look at quantity for package items. So don't worry about the fact that it says 4 under quantity for 20 by 40s. The system manages the availability of package items based on the availability of the constituent items. So for example, if I've got 3 out of my 4 20 by 20 canopy tents rented out, the 20 by 40 will show up as unavailable because I only have 1 20 by 20 available, and it needs 2 of them to make a 20 by 40. So let's go ahead and use the same technique to create a wet version of this 22-foot giant slide. In this particular case, all I need in order to make this dry slide into a wet slide is a garden hose. So I'm going to go ahead and add my garden hoses to the inventory as a hidden item. So once again, the main thing is just to make sure we have a name, type, cost, quantity. Not even going to bother with a picture in this case because this is a hidden item that isn't going to show up on the website at all. So we're going to go ahead and put this in the hidden category, and we're going to submit. And then we can create our package to make this available as a wet slide. So again, copying is the easiest way to do that. And I'm going to leave the picture as is, and I'm going to go ahead and leave it in the slides and combos category. Later on down the road, I'll create a water slides category and move this into that. Or better yet, I'll put it in the water slides category and actually put it in slides and combos as a secondary category. Remember, secondary categories allow us to put items in multiple categories, so they show up in multiple places on your website. And we'll dive a little deeper into secondary categories in our advanced inventory video. So let's go ahead and submit. And once again, we can see the item in the back end and on the front end website. Now let's talk about add-ons. The ERS system has 3 different kinds of add-ons. There are suggested add-ons, which are intended for upselling. Then there are required add-ons, which allow you to get needed information from your customer about how they'd like an item configured. So for example, when a customer orders a snow cone machine to be added onto their party, if you give a free flavor along with that, you can create a required add-on that goes with that snow cone machine that requires them to choose their free flavor. And the third kind of add-on is a service add-on. We don't use service add-ons in this industry a lot. Service add-ons are typically used for items that are rented on an ongoing, long-term basis. So if you have any questions about that, I encourage you to look it up in the knowledge base or to reach out to the tech support department. But for now, let's take a quick look at the add-ons that we have in this system. We can do that at Admin, Products, Add-ons. So we can tell that, yes, this is intended for upselling. Now let's input some snow cone flavor packets into our inventory so that we can create a required add-on to prompt customers to choose their free snow cone flavor when they add the snow cone machine to their order. So let's go back to Admin, Products, Items, Add New. I'm going to use a special display name with this item. So when the system asks the customer what kind they'd like for their free flavor packet, it will just say cherry. There are many uses for special display name, and we'll get more into that in the advanced inventory video. Now we're going to specify a cost of 0, and it is important for us to put some kind of number in this field, even if it's just 0. When we use this item later to make a package so that people can buy additional flavor packets, we'll specify a cost for those packets at the time that we make those packages. With respect to quantity, the ERS system by default does not count down your inventory for sales types of items. In other words, items that aren't going to come back. So for example, if a customer rents a bounce house and a snow cone machine with the cherry snow cone flavor coming with the snow cone machine, you know you're going to get the bounce house and the snow cone machine back, but you don't expect to get the cherry flavor packet back. Now the ERS system can count those items down for you. For example, if you buy a packet of 1,000 cherry snow cone flavor packets, you can enter 1,000 in here, and you can enable settings that will actually count down the inventory of those sales items as you sell them. So we'll go over that in a little bit here. And this is going to go in the hidden category. And we're good to go. Now in order to make it easier for me to find the things I'm looking for, I am going to click on this heading right here. And that's going to organize all of the items in this list here according to the heading that I clicked on, in this case category. So now all of the hidden category items will be together and it'll be easier to find them. Once again, the easiest way for me to input those is to start by copying. Okay, they're all in there now, so let's go ahead and make our add-on. The language we enter in here under description is what's going to show up to the customer. Now if we specify a cost for any of these items, that will show up after the title of the item and it will charge that cost. If we do not specify a cost, the system will use the item's base cost, which in this case is 0. Exclude parent item for required add-ons removes the parent item from the receipt. What this means is that, for example, if you offer a free shirt as part of a package or special of some kind, maybe you create a parent item called free shirt, and then you create a required add-on that asks the customer what size they would like. So if the customer chooses medium, you want it just to say medium shirt on the receipt. You don't want it to say free shirt, medium shirt, and have 2 line items there. In this case, we don't want to exclude that parent item because the parent item is the snow cone machine itself. So we want the free flavor to show up as a line item underneath the snow cone machine. So okay, we're good to go. Let's go ahead and submit. And then let's go ahead and apply this add-on to the snow cone machine item. So we'll scroll down about halfway until we get to required add-ons. And if we leave the quantity box blank, the system will default to 1. You can specify a range as well, 0 to 10 for example, 4 to 8 for example. What that does is it allows the customer to choose any number within that range. If 0 is in that range, it allows the customer to not choose any of them and proceed. But again, if you leave that quantity field blank, the system assumes you want them to just pick 1. So let's submit. The ERS system only allows you to have either a suggested add-on or a required add-on attached to an item. But don't worry, you can always upsell. The trick is to add a suggested add-on to all of the items that are in a required add-on. So for example, when someone rents a snow cone machine and they choose their free flavor, if I've applied a suggested add-on to all 3 of the flavors that are in that required add-on, they're going to see that suggested add-on once they choose their flavor. So I'm thinking, why don't we prompt people to add more snow cone flavor packets to their cart? And we can also put a few other things in there like tables and chairs and whatnot. Now the flavor packet items that we have in the system right now are set to have a cost of 0. So we need to create new items for the additional flavor packets. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and find them and just copy each of them. Now in this case, I'm not going to use a special display name because I am going to put these items into the concessions and add-ons category so that they show up on the website. However, I am going to make this into a package item. And I need to make sure to change the category. And now we can submit. So once again, I'm going to copy this item twice to make the other 2 items. All right, let's create a new add-on to prompt people to get additional snow cone flavors. Now I'd like to also include some other concession machines and tables and chairs in this suggested add-on, and a bunch of those items are already in the standard add-on, so I'm going to start by copying that one. I'm going to get rid of snow cone machine because they already put a snow cone machine in their cart. I am going to go ahead and add the additional flavor packets. And then I'm actually going to move these up to the top. You can reorder these. All right, and then this one is going to go away. If you leave a drop-down menu blank, once you submit, it goes away. So we need to rename this, and I'm going to rephrase this here as well. All right, so now that we've created another add-on, let's go ahead and apply it to those snow cone flavors. Now, because I'm going to make the same edit to 3 different items, the easiest way to do that is to click here to customize our view and check suggested add-ons. And now I'm going to go into spreadsheet mode. Once again, I'm going to click into category to reorganize the items. And we can specify the suggested add-on here. All right, so we're almost ready to place a test order, but there's one last thing we should do first. We're going to delve just a little bit into schedule profiles and price rules. As mentioned in a previous tutorial, schedule profiles, price rules, and availability rule sets are the plumbing that help the system manage your inventory properly. We'll dive deeper into that in a subsequent tutorial, but for now we need to create a sales schedule profile and price rules for items that are for sale rather than rent. So let's start by going to Admin, Rules, Price Rule Sets. Let's add new. And let's go ahead and call this Sales Items. We don't need a description, and we actually don't need any rules either. The system recognizes price rule sets that don't have any rules as meaning that the item is for sale. So that's all we need to do here. So now we can go into Admin, Products, Schedule Profiles, and we're going to add new. And we're going to call this schedule profile the same thing as the price rules that we created. We need to make sure to leave mode none. Earliest time and latest time should be set to 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. And we need to specify the sales item price rules. We should leave the rest of this blank. Now that we've created a new schedule profile, we need to double check to make sure that main is still at the top of this list. It has to do with making sure that the ordering process on the website starts correctly. And we'll cover that in more detail in the advanced inventory video. If you need to reorder the schedule profiles, you simply click on the blue cross and drag it into position. And now we need to make sure all of our sales items have that schedule profile. So I'm going to go into Admin Products Items again. And once again, I'm going to customize because schedule profile isn't showing up here. Okay, that's a little more manageable, and I'm going to go into spreadsheet mode. And I'm going to do a search for the word flavor because I remember that that word was in the title of all the items that we're going to edit here. So because spreadsheet mode allows us to make edits directly from here, it's a super quick process. All right, now that we've gotten that done, let's go ahead and place a test order. We can place one through the front-end live website so that you can see what your customers would experience. And once we're done with that, we'll go ahead and place an order through the back end so you can see what that process is like. As you're placing your test orders, pay attention to how the ordering process goes. Generally speaking, if you see something you don't like or you would like to change, you usually can. Blah, blah, blah. So for example, here we have a day selector followed by a time selector. Most of our customers like to do it that way, but if you do all-day rentals, you can just have a day selector. You can also do time slots. So again, pay attention to this checkout process, and anything you're not able to figure out how to change, the tech support department, as I'm sure you've heard me say by now, is your best buddy. Let's go ahead and choose out a bounce house. And let's go ahead and add a snow cone machine to the order and see if we configured our add-ons correctly. There's the additional snow cone flavors suggested add-on, so this is working correctly. Now this right here is called a cart step. In this case, the customer is prompted to enter in a city and a zip code. But you can collect whatever information you want to on this step. Some people like a longer cart step that includes things like email address so that they have marketing data. Other people like to use this so that they can display the travel fee on the next screen. And still others prefer not to have a cart step at all, as they feel that it's just one more thing that makes the checkout process take just a little bit longer, and their philosophy is they like to make the checkout process as quick as possible. So give some thought as to whether you'd like to have a cart step, and if so, what kind of information you'd like to collect, and please reach out to the tech support department, as this cart step, along with the customer info page that comes next, are part of what we call ordering steps, and tech support has to change those for you. Now once again, this page is customizable. Feel free to think about what kind of information you'd like to collect here. The checkboxes on this page come from Admin, Order Config, Reminders. The choices in this drop-down menu here come from Admin, Order Config, References. The drop-down menus here are coming from Admin, Order Config, Order Options. And this drop-down menu here is coming from Admin, Order Config, Setup Surfaces. We'll dive deeper into all of those areas in a subsequent tutorial. I just wanted to give you a basic idea of where this information is coming from. If you'd like to change what information is being collected on this page as far as contact information, again, that's an ordering step, so reach out to the tech support department about that. Now this is a demo account, so we don't have merchant services set up, so we can't take a credit card payment. And you'll likely be in much the same boat at this stage of the game. And that's fine, we'll cover getting your account set up with merchant services in a subsequent tutorial. So for now we can submit without payment. And when we go back into the control panel, if we click into scheduling, we should see the event there. Let's quickly book an event in the back end as well. Booking an event in the back end is in many ways very similar to booking one through the website. You just have a few more capabilities. For example, you can click on the price of an item to edit it. There's also a customer search. And again, since you're logged into the back end of the company, you have more capabilities than your customers do on your website. For example, you've got a customer status field here. If you mark a customer as bad, that just means that anybody who enters in their email address will not be able to complete an order on the website. Bad cleared means that there's history and you weren't willing to do business with them in the past, but it's since been cleared up and you're now willing to do business with them again. And if you don't mark anything here, the system treats them as good. There's also an additional field here for internal notes, and you can apply discounts, override the travel fee, override the deposit amount, the tax amount, and apply miscellaneous fees here. You can also send a quote from this screen. And when we click back into scheduling, we can see we now have 2 orders on that day. Now this is important. Since these were test orders and not real ones, I need to cancel them. So I'm going to click into that day, and then click there to cancel the order with no rain check. I'm going to apply a cancellation note. And when I check my email, I can see that the system let me know that I received an order and that the events were canceled. Those are both editable documents that the system automatically sends out when certain triggers are made, like the order was placed and then the order was canceled. The system uses documents for many different things, such as quotes, invoices, etc. So feel free to take a look around at Admin, Documents, General Documents to edit those documents that your customers receive. And we'll get more thoroughly into documents in a subsequent tutorial. All right, that's going to do it for this tutorial. Our next video is going to cover order options and reminders. Remember, anytime you're working in the system and you have questions, the knowledge base is your friend. And of course, you can always reach out to the tech support department at 505-435-9731, extension 102, or support@eventrentalsystems.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.